Bartholomew Town is brought to you in part by the University of Rhode Island Online, Navigant Credit Union, the Audubon Society of Rhode Island, Newport Film, and Half Street Group.
Bartholomew Town.
Are you looking to advance in your career or explore a new field? The University of Rhode Island now offers a comprehensive portfolio of fully online programs designed to bring world-class education to you anytime, anywhere. Choose from a wide range of flexible, asynchronous programs in business and leadership, data, tech and STEM, healthcare and pharmacy, marine and environmental science, and more. With expert faculty and innovative courses, you'll gain the skills and knowledge to thrive in today's competitive world. Are you ready to take the next step? Visit uri.edu/online and discover how URI Online can help you achieve your goals. URI Online, learn anywhere with us. Kicking things off for 2025 as we begin the legislative session is the Rhode Island Atheists, who have been really active in 2024 and are here to kind of discuss their priorities for this 2025 General Assembly session. John Mertus, Brian Cardoza from Rhode Island Atheists. Thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, thank you, too.
What are your priorities for 2025?
Well, one thing is that I want to go back for just one second. And that is to say that there's been a real change in atheism. It's gone from the new atheist, Daryl Dawkins, Hitchens, which is, we hate religion, everything's wrong, to more of the Seneca quote, which is, religion is considered true by the poor, false by the wise, and useful by the the ones in power. And so this is our viewpoint, that religion has been weaponized. And we have no problem whatsoever with people being spiritual. We have no problem with people going to church. We have a complete, total problem with the weaponization of religion. You can see that with Trump, et cetera. So our view is to try to go and pass legislation that will help protect us in separation of church and state. We're also very much into rationalism, and I'll let Brian explain a little bit more about what's coming up with that session and what we're trying to do there.
Yeah, so for 2025, we have our Day of Reason, which is a direct response to the Day of Prayer. We have last year, just a quick transgression. So we got an award from American Atheists for Affiliate of the Year for activism.
Is that a national
to recognize national that
umbrella
yes,
organization?
It is.
Gotcha.
Yes, it is. That's there's 200 chapters around the U.S.
Interesting.
So I'm very, very proud of that. We worked hard. So we're going to make our voices be heard. I guess, like I was saying before we started recording, we're at a point right now where we're not just sustaining, we can actually grow. And I think our message is being received pretty well, you know. We have a lot going on. I don't even know where to start from it. We have healthcare reforms. We're trying to do this Freedom to Read Act that we're trying to stand behind. It's to protect books from being banned. Right. We have a lot of that going on right now. I actually saw somebody showed me something from Tennessee. There was a book about a girl who turned pink because she ate cupcakes. She ate too much. And the book's message was about gluttony, but her brother had also eaten cupcakes, which turned him pink. And the book got banned because of that reason.
Why? Because the guy turned pink, so now we're back to elementary school, pink. Blue and
yes,
pink colored destinations.
Yep.
Well, you know what's interesting?
Yes, we are.
You guys, we're up against a renewed sense of, traditionalism that I think is in some ways. Look, you look out in the world right now, and you see. For me, anyway, I look out and I see so many things that are utterly depressing. In fact, so much so that it has been on my mind more than ever before, to just kind of disappear from civilization. And that's not a joke. That's actually something I've considered. And at the same time, there's ways people are handling that. Some of them are taking active steps like what you're doing, or the work that happens in spaces of activist nature or arts nature. But then there are other people who see problems in the world and they say, you know what we really need to do, whether it's coming from a religious background or just sort of this fundamental traditionalist background. Hey, we need to get to a point where there's two genders and it's boys in blue and girls in pink. And if we don't do that, we're not going to be able to heal the world. So you're up against this. It's almost like people have, or some people have gotten to a point where they're more enthusiastic about these traditional ideals that end up just advancing the cycle of division and confusion for people. And it's not directly religion. Like you said, spirituality has a huge role to play in healing the world. But you're up against things like that when it comes to book bans, where now it seems to have gotten to a much wider audience where it's not just quote unquote Christian fundamentalists that have these types of viewpoints.
Yeah, we so this like hyper conservatism, I think what people are thinking is that order begets order. We have a really uncertain time, being the wealthiest nation on earth, having the problems that we have. People are really quick to see things going in a direction they're not comfortable with and kind of want to pull the reins back. It's almost like the way that it used to be, with, conservatives were trying to hold back, progressives were trying to push forward, and politics was this tug of war kind of to either move things forward or keep things the way that they are. And when we've made so many strides with gay marriage. Pot is now legal. Like, things that I never thought would ever happen in my lifetime have already happened. I have trans friends who are open about it. Something that you would not have seen like 20, 25 years ago, and I think that scares a lot of people.
Oh, it definitely does. Yeah.
And I think religion's really good at calming people's fears. Religion's really good at making promises of a better day. I think our message has to, kind of be like that, but truthful. Not as Pollyanna, but just as exciting and just as, not as hateful as John was saying. We're not an anti-theist organization. We work with religions on different things. We just had a shield bill last year. It was a healthcare shield bill for to keep other states from meddling in our state's affairs. There was a Rhode Island coalition of churches, that helped us out with that. That was, and we stand with them on things, obviously not with the religion things, but we align when it comes to like civil rights, bodily autonomy, and just basic freedoms, So
you have a shared
it's not a
value
religious
set.
thing. Yes, yeah. So it's not a religious thing. It's not atheist versus religion. We're not against God. We're just trying to make the world a little bit better, a little bit easier for everybody. And like I said, we have religious people in religious organizations that help us on that mission.
And I think when you have more, I'm John, sorry, I'll go right to you. I just think that when you have opportunities for people to have different lenses to look at the world around them and to make sense of it, it's incredibly useful and incredibly important, more than ever before.
Absolutely.
And this is one lens that should be available to everybody. Mm-hmm. Sorry, John.
So, no, my point was going to be kind of moving in a slightly different direction, is that I'm 74 years old, and I was involved very much with the anti-war demonstrations in the 60s, even the anti-Iraq thing. And one thing that I learned from that is that people have power. And when we showed up in the marches on Washington in 1968 and 1969, when there were 1 million people there, the government listened. And this is what we have to do now. The time for sitting on social media and, bitching about it is over. It's time for us to get out and show our support. For example, a month ago, the Nazis marched in Columbus, Ohio. What they need to do is be met with 10 times the number of people holding peace signs, not attacking them or anything, just we are not Nazis. And that will change the perspective. And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get people involved who will come with us and show our message that we represent, what I consider the ideals of America, which is freedom, all the other stuff we talked about the fact that there are a diverse group of people. And so that's our goal, to push this, to push the fact that there's a large group of people who support our viewpoints.
Right. And that's something that a lot of people, when they hear the word atheist, or they hear anything that's, whether it's agnostic, frankly, when people hear the word anarchy, there's a number of different buzzwords that have been sort of driven into a particular lane, and they seem, based on our contemporary understanding of politics and worldview, they've been made to be almost scary words, when in fact...
they're vilified.
They're vilified. When in fact, there's actually, you may not have to adopt those positions fully or even in part, but there's something there to explore. And I think our general problem right now, society-wide especially, we can look in our own community, is we're firing on so many different cylinders, and we almost are at a point where the divide and conquer model has almost gotten to the point where it's been so effective that it starts to feel like there's no return, when in reality, if you just take one step back, it's not hopeless at all.
No, I think that we saw a little bit of that. I don't want to bring up bad things, but with that execution of that CEO, people rallied behind that, not necessarily for the murder, but for what that represented, and the temperature is high across the board. It's not, if we can, I'm not saying let's go murder, but if we can kind of take that energy and focus it into something, more positive, and understand that we aren't that far apart with what we want. We've had the powers that be make it so we think we are, what I mean? Whether it be media, whether it be other politicians. And I'm talking about all politicians too, some worse than others, but it's all politicians. It's people that want the status quo to stay the way that it is, and figure out a way to misrepresent or, lie or make people go against each other. I have family that is mostly religious, mostly conservative. I love them. Our views don't align with that. But other than that, we get along just fine. I see him every Christmas. I saw him for, Thanksgiving, so we're not that far apart. And I just want, people to know that atheists don't hate God. We're just trying to make the world a better place.
Well, there's also
everybody else.
There's also another psychological issue here, and that is, especially with something like religion, and you look at science, and you begin to see it eroding the viewpoints of, the tenets of religion, like how did we get here? There had to be a God. Now what happens is people begin to doubt. And that scares them. But more than that, they then build up a barrier against it. And then they say, I don't want to think about this. This is just bad. And so it actually, I don't want to say fear, but their uncertainty gets strengthened when they're met with these logical things. And that's a very hard thing to get around. It's psychologically, it's very, very hard. And that's why what we try to do is basically we're inclusive. We never, like we said, we're working for things. We're not working against things. It's exactly what I would tell my daughter when they were playing softball. You root for your team. You don't root against the other team. And that's what we're trying to do.
We need to get to a point where people understand more than ever before that the battle of us and them is not left, right. It's not Trump versus Biden or even Sanders or anything like that. It's not, who's going to win the governor's race in Rhode Island, or who's responsible for the Washington Bridge. Like, those things do matter, and they play a direct impact on our lives. But what actually matters is it should be as obvious as ever, given that we're basically entering into a full-on oligarchy. But the united, I've been thinking a lot about Occupy Wall Street, which became very quickly because of a very concerted effort by corporate media. I've gone back and watched Saturday Night Live, corporate media trying to mock, the way that these people, and certainly CNN's coverage, a lot of snickering and laughing and, look at these kids. It worked very effectively, and it dismantled a movement that began as very organic. I mean, I was there in New York. I saw it, and it was speaking to these truths. And who are they? I don't know, but it's clear that there is some element of human design at play right now that is pitting us against each other, all the while we're suffering from a lack of sufficient health care. We're suffering from a lack of sufficient housing. We're seeing fear tactics being used in schools, whether it be with book bans or beyond. And there's no way that you can sit here and tell anybody that it's not possible for mutual collaboration worldwide to overcome those barriers. But it's going to take things like the Rhode Island Atheists and the Rhode Island State Council of Churches working on joint legislative efforts together to try to advance those goals times, 100 million. But but you're doing the work, and that's impressive.
Right on.
I do want to do a shout out to our director, Joe Burgo, because he has made a lot of this possible. Okay.
Yeah, I concur. I think seeing the through line, seeing it happen, I don't know. I just can't sit back. It's just, I feel like we have to fight sometimes,
We're recording this on Tuesday, January 7th, which is opening day for the General Assembly in Rhode Island. That's a little bit of an oversell in terms of opening day. There's no, you're not going to get a free baseball cap if you go to the stadium. But you will be there today, as I understand it, and you're going to be doing some direct action.
Yes, I am
on the floor. So last 60 seconds here. Where can people find out more about what you're doing and kind of keep in touch with the work that you've got going on this legislative session here in Rhode Island?
We're on Facebook. You can email us at riatheists.com. We're on Instagram and on Blue Sky. We are also on X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm sorry. And I don't know, just if all are welcome,
Awesome.
We don't discriminate.
Brian Cardoza, John Mertus, Rhode Island Atheists 2025. Here we are.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bill.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for stopping by Bartholomew Town. For more content, follow me on Instagram at Bill Bartholomew.